Why did you want to make this movie?
I was sitting at home and I'm watching television. I'm noticing they got like the rapping weatherman and, you know, everyone's on television, commercials are rapping. I'm like, that's great, but do people really know where hip hop comes from, or do they know where the music comes from? And rap has been around long enough now that people that enjoy it may not know the origin of it. So I said, okay, maybe I should just do a documentary. Now, I always wanted to direct films. I want to direct features. That's part of Ice-T's journey. And I just got the idea, so I called up my friends, you know, my rap peers, and I said, look, I got an idea. I want to do a movie, but I'm gonna ask you guys questions, but not about the money, not about the cars, not about the jewelry or the beef, just about the craft. And everybody's like, wow, nobody ever asked us those questions. And I reached out to my manager. He connected me with a company out of London called Jolly Good Films, Paul Too Good, Andy Baybutt. They have gave me the British response. That's brilliant. And they came to New York, and next thing you know, we're making a movie.
And so did you find things out along the way that you didn't know?
Well, you know what it was? It reconfirmed what I already knew. I know that all these guys are funny. I know all these guys are intelligent, but I don't think people know that because all they do is see press clips, small bites of them, you know, in the press, or you hear about them when they're in trouble. You don't really know the people. So I said, if I only interview my friends on film, people will kind of get a vibe of what the person is behind, you know, the image. So it just reconfirmed what I already knew, that everybody was crazy.
So what would you say hip-hop comes from?
Well, hip-hop is a culture. You got it?
Yeah.
Hip-hop's the culture, rap is a vocal delivery. And hip-hop comes from the South Bronx. It's a youth movement that started in Bronx River Projects, and it was an anti-violence culture, which was based around, you know, the kids in the projects who were having a lot of trouble, and a group called the Zulu Nation said, hey, look, we're gonna have parties here in this project, but what we're gonna do is, instead of being a gang, we're gonna say, hey, if you wanna come here, you better come in peace. They used to say, come in peace or leave in pieces. And inside that, DJing was born, MCing, which is rapping with the DJ, breakdancing, and the graffiti movement. And all that embodies the hip hop culture. And it's all gone all over the world now, and it's a part of global fabric, you know, hip hop. But you can rap and not be part of hip hop. There's a lot of people rapping that have no concept of the culture.
Because I want to play a clip from the movie now, and this is Lord Jamar, who explains what this whole idea of hip hop being something from nothing is about.
It was at a time when they were taking instruments and shit out the schools and all of that type of shit. See, black people used to be pretty musical back in the day. It was removed from us, you know what I mean, through economics and through, you know what I mean, cutting things out of schools and all of that. So they tried to take the music from us. So what do? We took the record player, the only thing that's playing music in a crib, and turned it into an instrument, which it wasn't supposed to be.
Which it wasn't supposed to be.
Is that right? I mean, or
yeah.
is that a romanticized view?
Well, no, that was the climate at the time when hip-hop was born. You know, the situations in the schools, they had taken, you know, cut back money, and the first thing they cut back in schools is the arts, and that's music. So the thing of it is, music is so natural to human beings that if you take every instrument away from me, I'll beat on this glass. People just need music. And with the invention of the mixer, the DJ mixer, kids in the Bronx found out that they could play just the breakdowns of records and create a real nice vibe, you know, to have a party.
And so where were you brought into this? Was it Rapper's Delight?
Kinda, yeah. I was in Los Angeles. Actually, I was in the Army at the time. And I knew something was going on in New York called rap, but I hadn't heard it. And then all of a sudden, this record came out called Rapper's Delight. And anyone who heard Rapper's Delight was blown away. It was just so unique. And I was like, I could do that, you know? And I tried to do it immediately, but I wasn't that good.
But that's the point, isn't it? Because originality is always sort of hyped as the most important thing.
Absolutely.
In hip hop.
Yes.
Yet this is an art form born out of you all copying each other.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we say inspired. You can't copy. If you copy, that's called biting.
But you learn to do it by copying, don't you?
Yes. Yeah. Well, everybody does. Everybody does. You got to remember that everybody, whatever you're doing, usually you were a fan first. You're sitting here, you're interviewing me. You probably admired other interviewers, and then you say, "That's what I want to do." When you want to play basketball, you sit in the bleachers for a long time before you hit the court. Or if you want to swim, you watch Michael Phelps. So we all are inspired by someone to do it.
But how did we get from Rapper's Delight, which was quite a sort of, gentle kind of record in a way, to hip-hop culture?
Well, Rapper's Delight was just a part of hip-hop culture. That's just the rapping. You got to remember, there's the DJing, there's the breaking, there's all these different things that go along with it. So it's running on 4 cylinders. So everyone is all part of one movement, which is we're trying to do something positive versus negative. And the rappers, they took that in a whole bunch of different directions. Melly Mel took it with the message in one direction, and every rapper took it in their own direction. I took it down the gangster road. I invented gangster rap.
Why?
Because I was a gangster.
But you were a soldier.
No, but after that I started robbing banks.
And so what? It was not an obvious move, was it? I mean,
yeah, it is an obvious move. They both use guns.
Oh, okay. Well, tell me how you got there then.
What?
From what you were doing into gangster rap. When you say
when I came out of the army, I was listening to rap, but I got home and all my friends were doing crime. And so next thing you know, I get involved with crime, and we're doing bank robberies, we're doing jewelry store heists, and the music was still there. So we would go out and do our negative stuff in the day, and then at night we would go and we would rock the parties. Well, then I would try to rap like New York rappers about happiness, and my boys was like, rap about us, rap about what we're doing. So I started to rap about the street life, the criminal life. And little did I know that that would take off. Kids all over the country were like, I like that, I like that. So I started to tell precautionary tales of that life. Because as I got out of it, my friends started to go to prison, I started to say, hey, this looks fun, but this may not be what you want to do.
Let's just play a clip of Nas from the movie as well, where he talks a lot about this culture of rebellion.
Why do you think rap isn't respected?
Threatening. We're not supposed to be thinking like this. We're not supposed to be talking like this. What are we doing proud of how we talking with this broken English? How the you making poetry out of this broken English? Why are you guys bringing street conversation to the mainstream world? Stay in your place, stay out of there. I don't like looking at you. Fix your pants, fix your hat. Y'all supposed to stay in the gutter, get out of here. What are you doing invading my home? Why are my kids liking your music? What's going on? I don't like you. I don't like you. That's all it's saying.
If so much of this came out of crime, being a gangster, people were right not to like you, weren't they?
No. Not so much of it. I did. There's so many other forms of rap music. It's a lot of other forms of rap music. Just my lane is called gangster rap. So, I just think it's more so that a lot of people just don't like that their kids are listening to something that they're not familiar with. And then when it's basically a black culture, you've got a lot of racial issues in there too. It's the big fear. I always said hip hop is the fear of your little white daughter taking down her New Kids on the Block picture and putting up an NWA over the princess bedroom set. That's the fear. And the bigger fear is white kids liking black kids. That was the big revolution in what hip hop did.
Why is it primarily a black culture?
It started with black people in the ghetto. So, I'm saying it's like, why is country music mostly white?
But even post Eminem and all of that, you think it's still a black culture?
Well, not now, but it was. It started black. It started black, just like reggae. Why is reggae black? Because it starts in Jamaica, where black people live.
What do you think of what rap and hip hop looks like now in pop records?
Well,
I mean, it's nothing like what you were doing, is it?
Once something becomes popular culture, it'll be co-opted. it'll happen. It'll be in the news. It'll be all over the place. And there's nothing you can do about it. You know, so once it starts, it'll never be as real as it was in its rawest form when it's being created. But now it's everywhere. It's in potato chip commercials. You know, you just have to accept it. You can't stop it. You know, you can watch a Doritos commercial and there's a mouse doing reggae. You know, it's like, what are you going to do about it? It's just what it is. But if you really want the raw essence of hip hop, you probably might have to go back to the golden age when it was really early and when it was really starting. So
can it still exist as an act of rebellion or as a protest?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, in its best form, it can be used to change the world. I believe that hip hop is what helped put Barack Obama in the presidency.
How?
Because 30 years ago, when Public Enemy and Ice Cube and I started rapping, those were the kids that listened to us. Those are the same kids that voted for Barack Obama. You know, in the United States, black people only make up 10% of the population. So black people couldn't put a black president in if every one of them voted. It was 90% white people. And those white people's ears and ideas and just the whole feeling of maybe it's a possibility, I think those doors were opened by rap.
So white kids liking black music has been a force for good, basically, is what you're arguing?
People liking people is a force for good.
But it's more than people liking people, isn't it? Because you say yourself, this is primarily a black culture.
Yeah, but now you got to understand that people are rapping from Brazil, people are rapping from France, from Britain, from everywhere. I think music is the best cultural exchange device there is. You know, politicians, people look at politicians as liars, but musicians have always been the ones that have brought people together. And hip hop is straight, definite communication. I mean, think about it. I'm sitting here in London with a kid from LA, a South Central, like ex-gang member, be sitting on your news channel without music. Why else would I be here? What else would get me here?
Do you want to do more? I mean, did you enjoy the process of making the movie?
Making film? Yeah, I want to do features now. This was just my first step in. You know, so I think I want to be like the black Quentin Tarantino or the black Guy Ritchie. I want to do, action adventure films, little crime in there. I got a little experience in that. So we'll throw that in and work off of my experiences in life. But
Quentin Tarantino's so in love with black culture, you don't need to be a black Quentin Tarantino, do you?
Yeah, well, maybe I'll be a white Quentin Tarantino.